This life has a way of tearing you down. It has a way of tearing us down. Think about circumstances can create chaos. Disappointment can destroy dreams, and people can poison purpose. But renew means that we allow Jesus to make renovations on us. You have to let Jesus fix some things. You have to let Jesus fix things that have been broken and vandalized and ruined. By allowing these renovations to take place in our lives, His purpose will then become clear. He will, through this process, make you and I ready for what is to come through the tough seasons and through the good seasons. But how do I maintain my victory? How do I maintain my victory through each and every single season? Well, remember this, no matter how long you live, life will always find a way to try and pull you away from your relationship with God. Through distractions, through entertainment, through other people, through other relationships, through responsibilities, through low self-esteem, and even through fear. But the keys to maintaining your victory, no matter what transition or season you are in, include daily prayer and study. I told you you're going to hear a reoccurring theme. Daily prayer and study keeps your relationship with Jesus alive through the knowledge and communication with Him. Faithfulness to church, connecting to the body and to the authority is vital to spiritual survival. And eliminating distractions by keeping your life clear of things that will try to pull you away from God and His plan for you. You can maintain your victory and reach your full potential. But these are the key things. You've heard a reoccurring theme as I've been speaking. And you heard the song that Unity Praise danced to. It said the olive press. And you know the theme right here is the next chapter, Journey On. But I want you to understand this. No matter what season you go through, no matter what season you even find yourself in, whether it be the good seasons, whether it be the tough seasons, whether it be the wintertime in which you're facing harsh conditions and harsh circumstances, it doesn't matter if I know who is the source of my strength. It doesn't matter if I know and trust in God. It doesn't matter what comes my way, because I understand, just as the song that Unity Praise Dance to said, the shaking, the beating, and the pressing is all for a purpose. You think about it, I can't get olive oil without that shaking, without that beating, without that pressing. Every single thing that I go through is for a reason. But again, it goes back to my perspective. What is my perspective of God, and what is my perspective of myself? If I have a perspective that, you know what, no matter what I encounter, and I realize that God is intentional, as we were singing earlier, then my perspective will reflect that, you know what, no matter what the shaking and beating that comes my way, I understand that this will ultimately work out for my good. But it all goes back to my perspective of each and every single season and the source throughout each and every single season. Again, we must be mindful of that. But I want you to think about one other thing. You think about fire. You think about fire. Many of you sitting here today find yourself in a situation that seems rather hopeless, or that may be excruciating and provide excruciating pain right now. But you think about fire. Fire can be a good thing. It can be a bad thing, right? It can burn you very bad, in a very bad way. It can burn you to the point where you have third-degree burns. It can kill you. It can do all kinds of things. But you know what fire also does? It can destroy, but it can also purify. And so if I realize that each situation and circumstance that I go through, that each season, including those tough seasons that I go through, are simply cultivating me to be able to grow and to sprout into what God and who He wants me to become, then I'll come out pure gold. You know what process they use for gold and to purify it? Fire. Fire. They get up to such a high temperature that the impurities are burned and separated. So if I have the mindset and the perspective that everything that I encounter is for my good, as Sister Thea was singing earlier, and that God is doing it intentionally, then I can come out purified and pure gold. So no matter what comes my way, no matter what season that I go through, there is a reason for it. And if you will stand, I wasn't going to keep you long at all. If you would please stand. There's not much more for me to say. There's not much more that is needed for me to say. I think it's been said throughout this conference and even today. Everything that I go through each and every single season is for a reason. And I want to challenge you today to change your perspective if it is not on your source. I want you to change your perspective. And how can that be done? By refocusing on God. No matter how tough the situation may seem, it's small comparison to God. It's small comparison to what he can do. It doesn't matter what season you find yourself in right now. You may find yourself pressed on all sides. You may feel pressure. You may feel anxiety. You may feel depression. You may feel fear. You may feel drained. But you know what? It does not matter. Because if I remember my source, if I remember the source of my strength throughout each and every single season, including the season I'm in now, then I understand that it's all working out for my good. I understand then that it's working out for my good. Then can I move on to the next chapter? Then can I journey on? Then I can realize, hey, he has it in his hands. He is sovereign in all of his ways. And you know what? He's going to make the way for me. It doesn't matter what I encounter if I know my source throughout the seasons. So my question to you today is simple. Who is your source? What or who is your source during the season that you're in right now in this moment? I want you to think about the season that you're in, because it's key that you recognize what season that you are in. You don't know how to act or react if you do not know what season you are in. So I want you to take a moment and I want you to actually think about where you are right now. I want you to think about what season I am in. Am I in a tough season? Am I in a harsh winter season where it seems like everything is against me? Where it seems like nothing is working out for me? Where it seems like it is simply hopeless? Or am I even in a pretty good season? Am I in that summer season, that spring season where things seem to be flourishing, but at the same time I have to be careful not to be distracted by the things that are flourishing? What season are you in? And what is your source through these seasons? You've heard me harp on this quite a bit the last few weeks, but God has just been dealing with me on this. Your perspective is what will determine the outcome. So your perspective through each and every single season, your perspective of each and every single season that you are encountering will ultimately determine your success and your outcome. The mindset that I have will determine the outcome of what is to happen. Why? Because God is a gentleman, and he will not force himself on anyone. And he will not move unless I allow him to do so. He will not intervene unless I allow him to do so. But that will only happen if my perspective is that of a God that can intervene on my behalf. God will not do what you can do for yourself. The first step is changing your perspective. Once you do that, then he can intervene, then he can move, then he can be intentional in your life. Then he can help you through each and every single season that you are in. But it begins with one thing: my perspective during the seasons that I encounter. So I challenge you again today, what is your perspective? What is your perspective in the season that you are in this moment? Because your perspective will ultimately determine the outcome. You hear people say all the time that half the battle is in the mindset and the preparation. It is the same in this. I can't receive what God has for me if I don't allow him to move. I can't receive what God has for me if I don't have a perspective that he is in control through no matter what season. If I don't have a perspective that he is my strength. As I said earlier, he is a gentleman. He will not force himself on anyone. So will you allow him to move? Will you allow him to give you strength through each and every single season that you go through? Will you trust that his ways are simply intentional and that everything that you encounter, whether it be good or bad, whether it be something that you made yourself or that he brought to you, can be used for your edification? That is my question to you this day. So for those who would like to change their perspective, that would like God to simply take over, that would like God to give them the strength that they need right now in their season, I want you to come forth. Don't worry about anybody else. Don't worry about anything else. But simply, if you want God to intervene on your behalf in the season that you are in, if you want God to simply provide and to make the way in the season that you are in, step forward. Don't worry about anybody else. Don't worry about anything else, but simply step forward as an act of faith. That is the first step to changing your perspective. You must move forward yourself of your own choice. That's it. There are more to come. There are more to come. Even if you're in a good season and you want that to be sustained, you must make sure that your focus is correct and that your focus is on God. I need some prayer warriors and those that work in the altar to come forward. Sister Adrian and many others, please. We're going to need your help today. But I want you to understand this. For all those that are here at the altar, in order for my perspective to change, I must recenter my focus. You heard the song today, Jesus at the center of it all. You heard the song during conference, let us see Jesus. We must see him as our source and as our strength. And I promise you, if we do that, then our perspective can change. And then he can move. Then he can move in whatever the situation. He can move in your life however you need him to. With that being said, lift your hands all across this building. Forget about everyone else. Forget about anything else. And simply focus your mind, your heart, and your spirit on God right now in this moment. God, we come before you, Lord God, with humble minds, Lord God, with humble spirits, Lord God, simply knowing that you, Lord God, are the creator of all things, Lord God, that you, Lord God, are in control of every single thing, Lord God, that comes our way, Lord God, that you can change anything, God, in one moment, Lord God, however you see fit, Lord God. And God, today we acknowledge, God, that we are nothing, God, without you, and that we need you at the center of our lives, God, that we must see you, Lord God. We must see Jesus on your throne, God. We acknowledge that we need you to be the center of it all, Lord God. And we need to see you right now. We need to see you as our focus. God, I pray for every single person underneath the sound of my voice. God, that you, Lord God, will change, God, their perspective, Lord God. They have took the first step, Lord God, coming forward to this altar, Lord God, seeking for you to help change their perspective so they can have the support and the strength that they need to go out through each and every single season. So God, honor, Lord God, their commitment. Honor, Lord God, their faith in each step that they have already taken right now in the name of Jesus. Oh, hallelujah. Each person, lift your own voice into the Lord. Those in the congregation, lift your voice as well. Lift your voice as well. Acknowledge him for who he is. Acknowledge God for who he is. That is the first step of changing my perspective. Acknowledge him for being the mighty God, for being your actual source and your strength. Cry out to him. Press your way. Press your way. Lift your voice unto him. Lift your voice unto him. Acknowledge him as your source. Acknowledge him as your strength right now. See Jesus on his throne. Refocus on him and on him alone.